What's up, everyone? Back for another beer review, and today is New Year's Eve 2022, so hopefully everybody out there is having a very safe and responsible New Year's Eve. And to ring in the new year, I am reviewing yet another beer from the Boston Beer Company, aka Samuel Adams, and they are headquartered in Boston, Massachusetts, and this is their winter lager, the 2022 release. So they are calling this one a Festive and Smooth German-style Bock that is brewed with orange peel, cinnamon, and ginger. It comes in at 5.6% alcohol by volume, 22 IBUs at the time of review. This bottle is just under 2.5 months old. So if you follow the channel, you know that I very rarely re-review beers, unless they are seasonals or yearly releases where the recipe changes. This beer is typically not one of those beers, but the first time I reviewed this one was back in 2019, and then the following year, in 2020, they changed the recipe. So this is essentially a new recipe of their winter lager from Sam Adams. So I was like, you know what, we're going to review it. I bought their, winter variety pack this year, the Beers for Cheers variety pack. And I was like, you know what, we're going to re-review it and see what the change is. Now, they don't specifically mention what they changed with the recipe. They just said it was a bit more crisp. So they said crisper and brighter was, part of the write-up they did for it. So whatever that means, I guess, like maybe a little bit more carbonation and maybe a little bit more brightness from the cinnamon, the ginger, and the orange peel. But anyway, yeah, I enjoyed it when I had it back 2019, and I actually went back and looked at that review because a lot of times I don't when I re-review beers or, the recipe changed from year to year. But I went back and looked at it, and I was impressed mostly from the body and mouthfeel. Body was a little bit bigger, like higher side of medium body, and the mouthfeel was just really easy. It was effervescent, had a nice crisp feeling to it. So when they say crisper, I'm wondering, like, are they going to go crazy with carbonation? I don't know, but I liked the body and mouthfeel, and the taste was fine. I gave it a 3.6 out of 5, which is typically what I give this beer. But I'm curious to see if the recipe change really makes this beer better to me personally. I don't know, but I haven't had it since 2019, so we are going to re-review it, and hopefully it's pretty good. Anyway, yeah, it looks beautiful. It has that, now in person, it has like this, almost amber copper color, like an orange hue to it. Lots of carbonation as the nucleation at the bottom promoting the carbonation. About a half finger of a toffee, almost like cream colored head. It looks pretty nice. I'll take that, not toffee, more like a cream color head or like a light tan, not toffee. Looks pretty smooth and creamy though, the head itself. And in the Samuel Adams Perfect Pint glass, it looks beautiful. And that's what I said when I reviewed this one last time. It looks beautiful in the proper glassware. Anyway, let's get a nose. Okay. So yeah, it has that Bock, the base Bock kind of characteristic. It has toasty, kind of like brown bread to me. Caramel, toffee, maybe a touch of molasses. Then it has a little bit of a citrus feel. That orange peel's here. A dollop of like a cinnamon and ginger, like festive spices. And then it has like a spicy kind of like noble hop note. And that's pretty much what I said last time. I mean, yeah, it smells like a decent German-style Bock with a little bit of accentuation from the spices and the citrus. It honestly doesn't smell much different than what I thought this one smelled like, and also going back to look at the review, yeah, it's pretty much the same to me. Anyway, cheers, everybody. Happy New Year. Oh, it is definitely crisper. Okay. I don't remember it being that much of a crispy boy. So the carbonation's not quite biting or over the top, but it's definitely more noticeable than I remember. Yeah, body's medium, maybe a touch over. I'm impressed with the body. This one's 5.6%. It drinks like something a little bit bigger, like in the 6.5, 7 range, right? The mouthfeel, though, it's spritzy on the palate. It's effervescent. It's all dancing on the tongue. So this is definitely a little bit more biting from the carbonation than I remember the prior vintage being in the prior recipe. Does that make it better for me? I could see how somebody would like that. There's probably a lot of people out there that like that crispy boy kind of nature, especially since it's a Bock. But I think I preferred the older mouthfeel. But it's still, it's a good mouthfeel. The body's still spectacular. The taste, it's very similar, but I will say I think there's a little bit more of the spice character. So right in front of the palate, toasted brown bread, caramel toffee, touch of molasses. Maybe even a little like a fruitiness going on, like a dark stone fruit. As it passes through, the orange peel hits me. It's like, again, like almost a candied orange peel, a little sweeter. And then the cinnamon and ginger kind of mix together. And as it carries on to the back of the palate, it dries out on the palate. And there's this slight lingering, bitter kind of noble hop note, like a spicy floral thing happening. Or maybe like a spicy earthiness. It finishes semi to full on dry with a mild bitterness. The dryness of this beer is definitely more substantial than the bitterness. Very balanced though between the sweetness and then the dryness. 5.6%, you really can't tell. It's a little bit bigger though for like a winter beer. You know, the old school essence, like an English winter one. I should say it's bigger. 5.6 is fine for a Bock. But it's a little bigger than if you want something that's lager-esque and kind of just like you want to, you know, very quaffable, because they do release this, I believe, in 6-packs and like 12-packs and whatnot. It's a little bit bigger ABV though, but you can't really tell. It's just, you know, it'll get you where you need to be. Very easy to drink. Very good. Let me take it back. Very good would be, in terms of rating, would be like 3.75 or higher. I shouldn't say it's very good. What this beer is to me, and it might be very good for somebody out there, but for me, this is a very solid, enjoyable spiced Bock, basically, or festive Bock, as they used to call it. There's absolutely nothing wrong with this beer. Do I like this recipe more than the prior one? And to be honest with you, outside of the effervescence on the palate, the spritzy carbonation, maybe a little bit of a brighter feel from the cinnamon and ginger and the orange peel, it's not much different. It's just very slightly nuanced in the differences. I don't like this any less or any more than the 2019 and prior vintages. It's just a little bit different. I would say this: if you want a little bit more of a crispy boy when it comes to this beer, and you like a little bit more of in your, I should say in your face, because the cinnamon, ginger, and orange peel is not in your face, but it's a little bit more noticeable than the 2019, then this would be your jam. I think I do enjoy the cinnamon, ginger, and orange peel being a little bit more prominent, but I think I prefer the prior mouthfeel. So I'm not going to change up my rating because I don't think it needs to be changed. So the Winter Lager, the 2022 release from Sam Adams, I have absolutely no problems giving this beer right here a high 3.5 out of 5, go 3.6 out of 5. That's what I gave it in 2019. That's what I'm giving it today. And the reason for that is because that's what this beer is. It's a 3.6 out of 5 for me. And again, a 3.6 means I would happily drink this again. But I don't think this is a beer outside of the Beers for Cheers mix pack. I wouldn't buy this personally to, like, you know, drink a 6-pack of it or whatever. But if someone handed it to me, I was, you know, at a holiday party, or I was out and, you know, this was, you know, on tap and I was in the festive mood, I would easily drink this. There's nothing wrong with it. I enjoy the flavors. It's just nothing I'd probably drink and buy on its own myself. Anyway, price and availability: the Beers for Cheers mix pack was $17.99, a 12-pack here in the Buffalo, New York area. That's fine, $1.50 a bottle. And availability, wherever you see Sam Adams, you should see the Winter Lager every year. This has been a staple for many years from them. They also have a little spiel on the back here. We'll read. It says, no matter what or how you celebrate, this spiced holiday lager's rich malt notes and accents of cinnamon, ginger, and orange peel are perfect for any festivity. Yeah, very simplistic, but to the point, and I would agree. So if you've had this one before, post in the comment section. Let me know what you thought about. Did you have the 2019 and prior vintages of this, the old recipe? Did you have this new recipe over the last 3 years? What is your preference between the two? Did you know they even changed the recipe? To me, I would say I like them both equally. If I had to choose, I think the prior recipe would be like a 3.61 to this being a 3.6. I think the mouthfeel is just a little bit better for me. But as a whole, this beer is always pretty damn good. So thanks for stopping by. Another beer review here on the Beer Patrol. We close out the 2022 year with this beer. Tomorrow I'm reviewing Anchor's, basically essentially their Christmas ale, which I'm trying to review every single January 1st. It's a tradition. We're going to start off the new year hopefully with a bang, because that beer, the recipe changes every year. That's why I re-review it, as I talked about earlier. It's a delicious beer. Hopefully this year's recipe is in my wheelhouse. And yeah, hopefully everybody out there, again, has a very safe and responsible New Year's Eve, so you can come back tomorrow and watch the New Year's Day review. Anyway, appreciate everybody stopping by for another beer review here in the Beer Patrol. To the next one. Cheers. Oh yeah, 5.6%. Like I said, you can, I feel like with the mouthfeel, you tell it's a little bit bigger, but like there's no booze on the palate. You don't really feel it warming. It's just, it's nice. Cheers.